Good evening. Well, it's been a scorcher here today. It was 100 degrees according to my car, and 96 degrees according to some other reports. So I suppose it was that warm. And the air quality index here, I don't know what it's like where you are, was 146, and 0 to 50 is considered normal. And so that's discouraging. Right now, it's supposed to be better, but my standard is you look up and you see what the sky looks like. And if it's like uniform, then that suggests that we have the Canadian storm system still here, fire and storm, and so I think that makes it more dangerous to be walking and so forth. So I don't know. I won't run today. The question on everybody's mind is, can Trump go any further right? Our Reichmeister, Herr Trump Unplugged, is, I think, doing two things. One is he's probably talking about what he really wants to have happen if he becomes president again. And the other is he's decided to dodge as far to the right as he can so that there's no breathing air politically for DeSantis. Then once he crushes him, I guess he figures he'll try to find ways to lie to everybody else, both to get the nomination and then to run against Biden. Now, I say that not because I want it to happen, but because that's, I'm sure, his plan. Now, his plan about centralizing the executive branch is that, for example, the Department of Justice would no longer follow what's been considered the post-Watergate rule of there being independence in the Justice Department, so that what Nixon did can't be done. Well, that's going to be, if Trump succeeds, well, he's going to be trying to undo that kind of rule. He's going to try to bring the FCC and the FTC into the White House. There'll be enemies lists and so forth. And you have to wonder if we're going to see some of the kinds of things we've seen in which, enemies of the state are put in large arenas and kept there and interrogated and sent off. Now, could we expect anything better from a fellow who thinks Putin and North Korea and China and these other wannabe dictators are his models? And I think the answer is evident. It underscores the fight we're in. The amazing thing to me is the response is always, oh, giggles, can you believe he would do that? Well, yes. And there were giggles about Hitler and Mussolini and a lot of other people who did this kind of stuff when they took it over. When we took over their governments, ended whatever democratic imaginations they had in their governmental structure, and replaced them with these dictatorships that continued sometimes until they were overrun by the people, shot and killed. The famous example of Mussolini is how he was hung upside down. And then, of course, Nixon, that's interesting, because I was thinking of Hitler. How Hitler went to his mountain retreat with his lady friend and popped a pill, and that's how he died. So the scenarios historically for this are pretty terrible, and they suggest something extreme and dangerous, and that's Trump to a T. And a guy at his age who is excited by crowds who are supporting him is dangerous, because he may feel, what the hell? I'll put it all on this. I'll go all the way. What are they going to do to me? And if I have to win in order that they can't do as much to me, so I can pardon myself or have someone pardon me or just do it, So that's the dangerous place that we are. Now, there are a couple of other issues that I find fascinating. One of them is the question about AI, artificial intelligence. And it's interesting in a different way than the sky is falling discussions we've been having. It's a real discussion among the actors and writers, what AI is going to mean going forward. In other words, are they going to be able to get benefits from the fact that, say, star A makes himself or herself available for AI, and then they could just use that AI image And I suppose with changing technology, they'll want to bring them back and so forth. So do they get royalties on that? Do they derive any benefit when the AI figure is used? And that's one of the stalemates there. So that's a real concern. But another one is artificial intelligence, not in this dreamy Hollywood setting, but if you write something, that is, whomever uses AI, may steal what you've written, run it through an AI program, and come out the other side with the competitor to the original. There are lots of possibilities. It fits into the category of don't hide your eyes, plagiarize. And that is still criminal, and I think that the technology won't change the evidence in that sense. It will continue to be a problem for those who steal the intellectual property of someone else. It's a right and a protection written in the Constitution and in statutes, and I've consulted on some of these cases, so I know something about it. It's a treacherous arena. And a good friend of mine got into a war soon after we left engineering school with IBM. And it turned out that when they came to claim he was infringing, he proved they were, and they paid him royalties. Now that's a sweet story. But this was my lab partner, and he's always been a genius. So it doesn't surprise me. He was taught by Jesuits as well, so that's a dangerous combination. He's a genius and taught by Jesuits, so anything is possible, right? Let's see, in the category of labor, it's very dangerous in Texas to be working, and the public workers are being denied some of the workplace protections that they normally have, including breaks for water, which is very important now. I did my 3-time statement yesterday about hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Well, it's no joke. It's certainly no joke anywhere, but it's no joke in Texas, where they expect the temperatures to go up. Who knows, 110, 115. I haven't heard yet that they've reached the 134 in Death Valley that they've been looking at. Let's see, what else do we have? Judge Cannon. We can't not talk about Judge Cannon. She has a court proceeding tomorrow, and there'll be several kinds of discussions. And one of them is, can we show, and under what circumstances, the classified information to Trump? Now, part of me says, the defense counsel part of me, and the consistent, logical part of me says, and I think that's where I'm going to remain, that if the guy's the defendant in the case, and we believe he's already seen the documents, and seeing the documents is important to his defense as a matter of due process, which just means fundamental fairness, then you have to design some structure by which he sees it. And there is in CIPA, the act that applies to these kinds of situations, an ability to withhold the documents from the defendant. Now, I think we probably have to hem in anything he can see, and I don't know if it's been determined that at the end of the day that we have retrieved all the documents from Trump that are classified, and the New Jersey documents, in my mind, stand out. Now, so I don't know if Smith is going to have that war. There will be a question about how much time do we need to work out these documents if Judge Luce Cannon is, trying to do what a judge would do who wasn't biased. She'll work it through and not allow massive delays. And you would think that at her age, with her hope in the future, she's not going to pin her hopes on Trump. But we cannot forget how many seemingly intelligent people go with this guy, drink the Kool-Aid and, throw caution to the wind and so forth. I just saw the pillow guy is having real financial problems now. I don't have crocodile tears for him either, but You know, these people, they crash and burn for this guy, and it's a kind of public madness, I guess, with the hope that if I do this insane thing, the leader of our gang will take care of me. It could be that simple. Or they're true believers, TBs, and you know, they're going to stand with him. And I don't know where she stands, but we'll have a good idea at the hearing tomorrow. So this will give us a peek into what we can expect going down the road. Now, she may not be consistent. You know, she might move it along. She might set a trial date, and then she may help him out at the trial. Or she may decide to pull her head back into the turtle shell and try to run this like a good judge would. That's a lot to expect. I've seen some talk about Kushner, son-in-law to Mr. Trump, and some are making something of the fact that Kushner supposedly said in the grand jury that Trump really believed that the election had been stolen. Now, first of all, that's a lot of bullshit, that Trump believed that, and we have other evidence that he knew that he lost and has talked about it, and so that's not why you question Kushner. You question him for two reasons. One is, on the off chance he may say something that is problematic for his father-in-law and useful at the prosecution. And the other is you want to lock in Kushner so that he can't claim to remember something else down the road if he appears on behalf of the defense at whatever trial there is. So, those are a couple of things on my mind. There's a lot going on these days. And in the Trump category, it's pretty scary stuff. I'm hopeful that we'll see an indictment by Blackjack Smith that has to do with the electors and the actual planning of the insurrection that failed. That would be a big news day. I'd also like to see something in Georgia. I'm going to have to see it before I could believe it, because Willis, well, she's made noises like she's going to do something and hasn't, so there's that problem. So, from my cathedral of trees, I wish you a good evening, and if I can, I'll be out again tomorrow. Bye-bye.